you're playing with the orchestra, it's like you're still kind of playing where you have to listen to it. You just need to find the rhythm of the orchestra. You don't necessarily have to tune in when you're playing the solo. You just have to find the rhythm and kind of like know it so well that you don't even hear it in the background, but you're playing the parts. You know what I mean? Because you're so in sync with it. You're your own metronome, right? So there is some, it doesn't sound easy still. It sounds kind of hard for you. I don't know. So when you play in the beginning, make sure that you're really concise, like you're part of the orchestra. So in the beginning, you need to sound like with the orchestra. You're a little behind. Where I'm supposed to accent, and I make it so dynamic that I sound so more interesting than just playing. Just in the beginning, you have to I can't think of the word, match the orchestra's intensity and length of bow and dynamics. So again, I'm matching the dynamics as well. Do you see how the orchestra becomes like a background and I become the foreground? Even though I max my speaker out, I play louder than them. You see that? Because I got used to the tempo of the piece. Again. The note, pow, pow. Don't sound like a orchestra member in the back. Sound like a soloist playing with the orchestra. Comes in, you need to not soften because you can't hear the orchestra. You have to think about the tempo and keep going with the tempo before. So you have to pay attention to tempo then when you play the solo. Once you get to the solo, it should be already automatic and you're dum 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 bum bum. But you want to play it when you're a soloist. You don't want to play the same way the orchestra just played. The orchestra is very mechanical right now, so you want to be more expressive. So what you do is you make notes a little longer and sometimes a little bit more. Not as separate. Longer and not as separate in some notes. Okay, now each phrase is a little bit different. I always get more softer at the beginning of each phrase. So after the eighth note, a piano, I literally get softer. And then I grow again. Do you understand? At the martellello, you see how many martellellos are there, or crescendos? So after you get to a great crescendo at the last note, I always soften in the next measure, the next phrase. So I play softer, okay? Do that. Don't just play the same loudness or intensity, okay? Softened at the beginning of each note, each measure, of each phrase. change this. I don't like that slide at 820. I'm going to change it, okay? Instead of 4 finger, put a 2. Go back to first position on that note. Now at Tutti, at 21, it's loud. You see that? Suddenly F shows up. You see that? That means that after you play the crescendo at Martellello, you keep the intensity of that loudness all the way through this section. But what happens? When it's loud, you got to get what? Softer. When it's softer, you got to get louder. Just like, look at the measures. Each measure is like that. Soft, getting louder at the end. Louder, here, gets softer. So you see at the piano, before you go into the 16-note runs. Stop. Good job.
It still went too fast on the 16th.
Yeah, I know, but you're not as ahead as you were, but you did kind of engage yourself and came back. You know what I mean? Even though you're rushed, you kind of come back, right? The main thing is you got to get piano, so you can hear it because it's a little soft, isn't it? So that kind of helps to play P and then only one note loud, right?